this video, we will explore Apache Kafka's control plane, the part of the system that manages cluster metadata. We'll look at how the legacy ZooKeeper-based model works, and then dive into KRaft, the new built-in consensus mode that replaces ZooKeeper entirely. The control plane is responsible for keeping track of all the cluster metadata, things like broker membership, topic configurations, partition assignments, and their current leaders. Think of it as the brain of the cluster that keeps everything organized and running smoothly. In the legacy model, this critical job was handled by Apache ZooKeeper, a separate, external distributed coordination service. ZooKeeper stored all the cluster metadata and helped elect partition leaders whenever changes occurred. You can see the ZooKeeper ensemble connected to the Kafka brokers on screen. In ZooKeeper mode, Kafka brokers relied on an external ZooKeeper ensemble, typically 3 or 5 nodes, to store all metadata and manage controller elections. One Kafka broker would be elected as the controller, the central coordinator responsible for making key decisions about the cluster. But this controller got its state information from ZooKeeper, making ZooKeeper the true authority. Every topic creation, partition reassignment, and leader election flowed through ZooKeeper first. This architecture meant operating 2 separate distributed systems, Kafka and ZooKeeper, each with its own deployment, configuration, monitoring, and security requirements. This added significant operational complexity, especially for smaller teams. Metadata propagation could also be slower because the controller had to read state from ZooKeeper and then push updates to every broker individually. As clusters grew larger with tens of thousands of partitions, these bottlenecks became increasingly painful and limited Kafka's ability to scale its control plane. In KRaft mode, Kafka replaces ZooKeeper with an internal Raft-based consensus layer called KRaft, completely eliminating the external dependency. KRaft stands for Kafka Raft, and it embeds the consensus protocol directly inside Kafka itself. Instead of relying on an external system, a small group of Kafka brokers are designated as controllers. These controllers form a quorum and use the Raft consensus protocol to agree on metadata changes, making the entire architecture cleaner and fully self-contained. KRaft simplifies operations dramatically by removing ZooKeeper entirely. You no longer need to deploy, configure, monitor, or secure a separate coordination service. Everything lives inside Kafka. This means fewer moving parts, simpler deployment scripts, unified security configurations, and a single system to monitor and troubleshoot. For operators, this is a massive improvement. One less distributed system to manage means fewer operational headaches. KRaft also brings significant improvements in efficiency and scalability. The internal metadata log can handle far more partitions and metadata changes than ZooKeeper ever could. In practice, KRaft mode supports millions of partitions per cluster, an order of magnitude improvement. Controller failover is also faster because the metadata is already replicated among the controllers locally, with no external system in the critical path. In KRaft mode, some brokers are designated as controllers. These controllers form what's called a Raft controller quorum, typically 3 or 5 nodes for fault tolerance. Among these controllers, one is elected as the active controller. This is the leader that handles all metadata rights and coordinates changes across the cluster. The remaining controllers are followers. They replicate all the metadata from the active controller and stand ready to take over if the active controller fails. Think of it like a team where one person leads the meeting, but everyone else has the same notes and can step in at any moment. This quorum design ensures high availability for the control plane. KRaft stores all cluster metadata in a special internal Kafka topic called __cluster_metadata. This topic has a single partition that is replicated across all controllers in the quorum. Every metadata change, a new topic creation, a partition reassignment, a configuration update, is written as a record to this topic. This design is elegant because Kafka is already great at replicating logs, and now it uses that same proven mechanism for its own internal state. All brokers in the cluster subscribe to this topic to keep their local metadata caches up to date. Metadata replication in KRaft works similarly to data replication in the data plane. The active controller, which is the leader, receives all metadata rights and appends each change as a record to the cluster metadata log. The follower controllers then fetch these records from the leader and apply them to their own local copies. This keeps all controllers in sync with the latest cluster state. The process is continuous. Followers constantly pull new records from the leader, much like how follower brokers replicate partition data in the data plane. But there is one critical difference between metadata replication in KRaft and data replication in the data plane. In the data plane, Kafka uses in-sync replicas, or ISR, to track which followers have caught up. A record is committed once all ISR members have replicated it. In KRaft, there is no ISR. Instead, metadata commits are based on a quorum majority. A record is committed once a majority of the controllers, for example, 2 out of 3, have flushed it to disk. This quorum-based approach is a core property of the Raft consensus protocol and provides strong consistency guarantees for all metadata operations. When the active controller fails, the remaining controllers must coordinate to elect a new leader. This is where the Raft consensus protocol comes in. Each controller maintains an internal epoch number, similar to the leader epoch in data plane replication. When a controller detects that the active controller is unresponsive, it increments its epoch number and transitions to a candidate state. The candidate then sends vote request messages to the other controllers in the quorum, essentially asking, "Will you vote for me to become the leader for this new epoch?" To prevent all controllers from starting elections simultaneously, each one waits a randomized timeout before becoming a candidate. This randomized delay is a key feature of Raft that helps avoid split votes and ensures elections converge quickly. Each controller votes for at most one candidate per epoch. When a candidate receives votes from a majority of the quorum, for example, 2 out of 3 controllers, it wins the election and becomes the new active controller. The winning controller then sends a notification to all other controllers, telling them to recognize it as the new leader and follow its log. The new active controller immediately starts accepting metadata rights, and the follower controllers begin replicating from it. This entire election process typically completes in just a few seconds, which is significantly faster than ZooKeeper-based controller elections. The epoch number acts as a fencing token, ensuring that stale leaders from previous epochs cannot make conflicting metadata changes. After a new leader is elected, the follower controller's metadata logs may be slightly inconsistent with the new leader's log. This happens when the old leader had written some records that were not yet replicated to all followers before it failed. These are uncommitted records. They exist on some controllers, but not on the new leader. The new leader's log is considered the authoritative source of truth, and any divergent entries on the followers must be cleaned up. Follower controllers reconcile their logs by first identifying any entries that diverge from the new leader's log. They then truncate these uncommitted entries and resume fetching from the leader to catch back up. Step by step, the divergent areas shrink and merge until all controllers have identical metadata logs. This reconciliation process is fast and ensures consistency across the entire controller quorum, keeping the control plane healthy and ready for the next metadata operation. As the cluster runs, the metadata log grows continuously. Every change, topics created or deleted, partitions reassigned, configurations updated, adds records to the log. To prevent unbounded growth, KRaft periodically takes snapshots of the current metadata state. A snapshot captures the complete cluster metadata at a specific offset in the log. Once a snapshot is created, all log records before the snapshot's end offset become redundant because their combined effects are fully captured in the snapshot. These old log segments can then be safely deleted, keeping the metadata log compact and manageable. Think of a snapshot as a save point. Everything before it can be discarded. Snapshots also serve as efficiency checkpoints for recovery. Instead of replaying the entire metadata log from the very beginning, a controller can load the latest snapshot and then only replay the log records that came after it. This dramatically reduces the time needed to build the complete metadata state. Without snapshots, a controller recovering from a long outage would need to replay potentially millions of metadata records. With snapshots, it loads one compact file and catches up from a much smaller portion of the log, making recovery fast and predictable. Let's see how snapshots are used in practice. When a broker or controller starts up or restarts after a failure, it needs to build its local metadata cache from scratch. The process has 2 clear steps. First, it loads the latest available snapshot. This gives it a complete picture of the cluster metadata as of the snapshot's end offset. This first step alone eliminates the need to replay the entire log history from the beginning. In the second step, the broker fetches all metadata log records written after the snapshot's end offset and applies them one by one. This catch-up phase brings the metadata cache fully up to date with the latest cluster state. This 2-step process, load snapshot, then catch up from the log. Works the same way whether a new controller joins the quorum or an existing one falls behind. By combining snapshots with incremental log replay, KRaft ensures metadata recovery is fast and efficient. And that wraps up our deep dive into Kafka's control plane. With KRaft mode, Kafka simplifies its architecture while improving scalability and metadata efficiency. ZooKeeper is no longer required, and controllers use Raft consensus to manage cluster state directly. Thanks for watching.